pleasure to welcome to the Author Corner Joe Brisben. And he's written a book. He's written a bunch of books, but one of the ones we're going to talk about is What is Skip Day? It's a really intriguing novel. So, Joe, thanks so much for coming back on with us. I think you're just a prolific and gifted writer. I do have to say that. And tell us about Skip Day.
Okay, I describe Skip Day as kind of a cross between American Graffiti and Animal House. But what it's really about is this crazy guy named Joe Ralston who graduates from Enid High School in 1959. And in the waning days of high school, he keeps going past his funeral home, and he notices this 1947 black Packard hearse that's for sale. And he thinks, how cool would that be to rent the hearse for the Skip Day parade and have his buddies paint graffiti all over it and drive it around town, and that way he might be able to make a lasting impact on his hometown.
Wow, and the reaction to that? I mean, what's the reaction to that?
Well, you mean the city's
in the
reaction?
book? Yeah.
Oh, well, they're on this plaza in front of the municipal swimming pool, and the photographer for the local newspaper comes by. And in the late 50s, Kate, there were people that were trying to see how many college students could be stuffed into telephone booths. And so the photographer wants to find out how many high school students they could stuff inside this hearse. And they get up to 76. And the photograph in the paper, not only that afternoon in the Daily Eagle, but also the next morning in the Enid Morning News. And as a result, Joe has rented the hearse over his father's dead body, and he's willing to pay the funeral home director $20 for it. But when he goes to find out, the funeral home director has been able to sell the hearse to a hunter out in western Oklahoma who wants to use it to dress deer in it, and so he refuses to let Joe pay him anything.
I love it. In a way, you know what this kind of reminds me of in a different way? It's that fascination we all have with the whole Skip Day thing of what would you do, what do you do, and you think of even Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Did it feel like that when you were writing it?
I hadn't had that one in mind, but I do love that movie, and I do think of it once in a while. But in the meanwhile, Joe's got a job at the News and Eagle, and he's being confronted by all kinds of people about what a strange sense of humor he has and everything like that. And he also has an encounter with one of his fellow basketball players named Bobby Winslow, and Bobby has a confession that he needs to make, and Bobby gets drunk at this party that's being run by one of Joe's friends, and he has to make a confession, and Joe feels so sorry for him, and he just feels kind of angry, and so at 2 o'clock in the morning, he's going up Broadway towards his home, and he wants to see how fast that his mother's sedan will go, and so he floors it, and he's up to 80 miles an hour, and he gets arrested by a black police officer.
Wow.
In which case, we have quite the discussion about civil rights in Enid, Oklahoma.
I bet. So it's interesting. You talk about ideas for books, and I said you were a prolific writer, and I meant that. So these ideas really flow for you, right? I mean, do you feel like that? Like, I have something else I want to talk about. Is that what it feels like? I am really blessed because I get these ideas, and they just start, coming out of me. And then on a second or third drafts, I'll add things. In fact, I have this experience of once a story's been developed to a certain extent, the story starts telling me what it needs in order to be better. Did you think when you set out to write that you would be writing like this, that these ideas would, like I said, just flow to you that easily?
No, I really did. I had been wanting to be a writer ever since I was in the third grade, but I became a journalist, and then I had 4 children, and I had to put them through college, and I've had a bunch of careers. I was a newspaper reporter. I got into college public relations, and then I was a financial advisor for quite a while. And then when I finally retired from that, then I had the time to do what I really wanted to do.
But what's so interesting, and we're speaking with Joe Brisben, and the book that we're talking about specifically is What is Skip Day? And there's Sweet Lorraine, and there's others too as well. Do you think because you had all these varied experiences that helps you with the writing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I don't, in none of my books are buildings blown up. There's no car chases. Well, I guess, being pursued by a black police officer up Broadway at 2 o'clock in the morning might be considered a car chase, but no, it's just I just wanted to defy stereotypical literature. Yeah,
I love it. So you write this book, and again, these are novels, and then I do want to mention Sweet Lorraine because it's different than Skip Day. Give us that sneak peek of Sweet Lorraine.
Well, Sweet Lorraine, this character Joe Ross comes back for a high school reunion. And he meets a lady. He actually re-meets a lady by the name of Lorraine, and he falls in love with her. And he was madly in love with her when he was in the 3rd grade, and she was in the 4th grade. And they were in a split room in an elementary school in Enid, Oklahoma.
Wow!
And while their romance is developing, and it was a lot of fun because these two people, although spiritually, I think they're kind of a decent match in the beginning. They're just so different, that things just don't happen the way that you'd like them to. But at the same time, it's also a biography of Joe's older brother John, who has become a socialist and has led a varied life, and there's a suicide on both Joe's side and Lorraine's side, and they all kind of come together. So anyway,
wow. So that there's a deeper twist in that one. What do you hope people take away from your books when they read them, when they read your novels?
Well, I hope they're entertained, and I hope that when another book comes out that they'll want to read that. I want to become the Brisben Habit.
I like that, the Brisben Habit. So, that's what happens. It's like Nora Roberts and some of these other huge writers, Patterson, that you go to the beach or you're somewhere taking public transportation and people carry that book around. So the Brisben Habit would be we look around and we see people with your books, right?
Yeah.
What's the reaction to people around you with that, with all these books you're writing?
Well, I went to a high school reunion in June, and particularly Skip Day, they kind of intrigued people. And people would ask me, am I in this book? And I said, why don't you buy a copy and find out?
That's right, because, it's called a teaser, Joe. You don't want to give too much away. Otherwise, then you got to get people intrigued. So we want to tell people, of course, then go to Amazon and get your books. And Skip Day, what is Skip Day? And it's funny because you could do a whole thing on what people think. In fact, we will do that on the show. What do people think of Skip Day? And did you ever have a Skip Day? You had a Skip Day, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, we had a Skip Day. In fact, the annex that happened at our Skip Day caused the celebration to be, they tried to diminish it the next year. The assistant principal did, and he and I were pretty good friends, and he's in the book. And then the next year, they did away with it completely.
No more Skip Days.
I seem to be the guy who helped kill off Skip Day. Yeah.
I love that. I can't wait to see what you do next. And like we say, you can pick up the books, Amazon.com, etc. And it has to be just such a great feeling. Is it just a great feeling when you finish another one? I mean, do you have a celebration, something that you do?
Yeah, emotionally, it's a real relief, but intellectually, it's real satisfaction, and I'm really happy. And I'm also lucky that I've got a graphic artist who's designed covers and some interior art for Skip Day and Sweet Lorraine, and he just did a great job. And that's Garth Connolly, and he's from beautiful downtown West Branch, Iowa. So
I love that. So that makes it come to life even more. So we'll say this again. Joe Brisben, it's always fun to have you on the show. Go to Amazon.com. Make The Brisben Habit, because you will. You'll get just pulled right into his novels. Joe, thanks so much, and good luck with the latest one. What is Skip Day?
thank you, Kate. Appreciate it.